Good morning, all of my fellow quarantiners. I just wanted to touch in and offer my small voice at this time to all of you in my local community mostly, but all my friends and family that might tune in. I want to talk about some subjects, obviously important subjects that we're all concerned about and that we're thinking about and that's affecting all of us. First of all, I want to talk about the state of things. The world is very delicate. This is a delicate subject to talk about in a delicate time. I hope to not be confused. I hope what I'm saying is clear. For most of you, you know that I have worked in the field of alternative medicine for many years, that I have worked in frequency healing for many years as a means to help regulate the human bioenergy field. It came to my understanding many, many years ago that if I was to be able to affect the human being in a positive way through subtle energy techniques, such as sound and scent and touch and hot and cold and all those methods I use, olfactory stimulation, all those things. If I could affect the human bioenergy field that way, then I knew that the bioenergy field of human beings could be disrupted very easily as well. It's my understanding that we vibrated about 74 to 78 megahertz as a human being. That's the energy we carry, which allows us basic human health. And it actually can be affected by so many things. The quality of food and water we drink, the people we're around, our mental state, our emotional states, our physical health is actually a consequence of what kind of energy we're allowed to hold in our body by even what we're around, like electrical wires, or if we microwave all of our foods, or if we are in a job where we're around a lot of like smoke inhalation and things like that, okay? So there's different things that we do, and human beings do them because we have to go to work and we have to make it, and we just do what we have to do. With exhaust fumes and, electromagnetics all around us all the time. So we're compromised right now in human history just by being alive. And that's why so many people seek out alternative medicine, but also Western medicine, because they have symptoms that point to their health not being great. And I think that all of us, if we're aware and conscious, should be working on that. I think a lot of people just say, hey, it's life, this is what's happening. But I've learned to apply different mild stimulations to the human body, which affect our senses and our neurosystems and our brains, and help us to feel safe, or help us to feel like we're not in danger. And so when we're not in danger, our immunity works great. Our circulatory system works great. Our brain communicates with all our organs, and we're able to digest cellular die off at a normal rate, okay? And our organs don't get clogged up, and we live and we're healthy. And so touch is my main thing, and right now I can't touch anybody. And so I just want to communicate some things. So the basic human bioenergy radiates at 74 to 78 megahertz. And when it begins to drop down towards 70, we're prone to colds. Then we're prone to flus. And that's when we're in like 62 to 68 megahertz. Why? Because the viruses and bacterias and funguses are allowed to grow and compete with our healthy immune system in our bodies. And so our immunity is like at war all the time, okay? And Donald Trump talks about this being the silent enemy. Well, there's many silent enemies out there all the time, but right now we're under pressure and our body is fighting for regulation. And so when we get down in the upper 40s, that's when cancer can breed and funguses. I don't know where we're at right now. I don't know. Every human being's going to be different based on where you are and the influences in your life. I do know that I can only imagine that when 20,000 microwaving satellites that interface with our communication system on this planet, namely 5G, are launched into our atmosphere. You can imagine the Earth like a cell, and our atmosphere the very delicate perishield of our cell, and that those microwaves are just shooting through our atmosphere and interfacing with life on the planet in all ways. And it's going to affect the total biospheric energy, the total force of the entire Earth. And right now I see everything hanging in the balance, fighting for balance. And our human bodies and everything on the earth is kind of designed to have an amount of resilience. And so we can kind of shake to a point and regulate. Healthy beings, healthy trees, and healthy people and bees can regulate pretty fast. But those of us with immunological discrepancies are going to be challenged because we're already fighting harder. And you're going to notice your animals aren't feeling as well. You might notice that the bees don't come out at the same time this year. You may notice a lot of things. You may notice symptoms in yourselves right now that you're concerned about. And what I'm trying to say is the coronavirus has gone out of control. Number one, because we travel around the world more than ever. And so this has become a worldwide pandemic rather than just an isolated pandemic. And so all of us are on alert and we're all worried and scared, and we're not going to work and we don't know how to pay our bills, and maybe our businesses will fail. And we just don't know. There's so much that we don't know, and we're being told to quarantine for 2 more weeks. And I think that quarantine's going to go on because as Americans, we're pretty rebellious. So just know that every single thing on this planet is being compromised right now. And if you are healthy, stay healthy. Continue to eat alive foods, fruits and vegetables, and things that keep your frequency high, things that help you maintain 78 hertz. Because once you drop down and you eat dead things, or you're around a lot of electrical wires all the time during this time, your immune system is going to be fighting a little bit harder, because by being influenced by the microwave, which is a little different than the radio wave, at this new level, this is new. And I don't believe that Elon Musk is bad, and I don't believe that anyone could possibly know what increasing our communication on the planet would do to every living being. I think there is an awareness of it, obviously, by the scientists, and some people were more scared than others for what was going to happen. And I think that those who felt symptoms living near 5G, 4G, 3G, electrical wires, all those things, and radiant fields like Fukushima, I think that they saw their immune systems drop. They saw their energy levels change, and they became more susceptible to all things, all illnesses, all viruses, bacterias, funguses, cancers. And so all I'm trying to say is we can do the best we can to stay healthy right now and obey the quarantine, because we are susceptible. So that's how 5G interfaces and how it can change the energy of the cellular field of the earth down to the elemental level, the way that oxygen and hydrogen may even be challenged at this time, that relationship, let alone the relationship between our white blood cells and our red blood cells. So there's that. And then there's also that there's a lot of rebellion right now. There's a lot of fear. And I just want to ask everybody to try not to participate in that as much as possible. That although we're cooped up and we're all looking for answers, now's not the time to hustle. Now's not the time to benefit financially from others. Now's not the time to go out and expose yourselves, which will eventually expose your whole family, your grandparents, your home, to a pandemic, because you cannot say you're healthy enough unless you're a whole different kind of space being that just doesn't hold the energy of the earth and is going to live at a higher frequency, and then you'd have a hard time living on the earth. So none of that makes sense, okay? So all your excuses for needing to hustle and going to work and being more important than other people because your bills are more important, all that is ego. It's made up in your head. And I would just say it's the most important thing to do what you're asked so that we can all get through this. There's no magic date that's been set, April 29th at exactly 8 a.m. Life is going to resume as usual. I know we all want that, but unfortunately, this will take as long as it takes. And then there will be more colds, more viruses, people dying of cancer. I read somewhere that all it takes is a 25% decrease in population to constitute an apocalypse. Well, I don't know what part of the population of the whole world is immunologically challenged, but I could imagine it's around 25%. So love your relatives, love what you have. Know that we're also privileged to be born in America, where we get past our first 5 days of life because we're not starving for the most part, and that we have hospitals that care for us. If I could pause this video and take a second, I would. I'm staring out over a great lake. It's very calm. Snow came on to the mountains yesterday, just like it would any other year. I can see birds landing in the tree outside my window, the magpies, in the same tree that the birds have landed in for my entire 42 years of life. And so I look outside my window and I tell myself that things are okay, that life is going on, and that I'm given a break and it's okay, and you've been given a break and it's okay. In the future, I'll be doing some guided meditations and offering some online healing for folks, and always teaching and reminding people how to go into these times where radical self-care is being called for, and it's probably your most important weapon and tool because your immune system is your weapon right now. It is the thing that's going to protect you. So go for walks, turn over your cells, circulate the oxygen, laugh when you can. You know, don't go see your grandparents maybe. I'm sure they're okay. They lived through the Great Depression for the most part. They know how to survive way better than we do. But talk to them on the phone and ask them what they think, and take their advice, because they've seen so much more than we have, and they're almost gone. That generation's almost the ones that came, you know, a few steps before us. They're holding this knowledge of a time that we don't remember. So I just wanted to talk about the microwaves, the 5G, how it's affecting our immune system, how it isn't the same as the coronavirus, but the symptoms can all overlap, because we're not under attack from just one virus right now. Although that one we aren't handling well, and so it's creating a pandemic. I foresee a lot more things coming that affect us and challenge us. And so there's that. Then there is what's being kind of challenged on the internet. Americans have this innate response to rebel. And there's reason for that, you know, because we've not been allowed to forget World War II. We've not been allowed to forget the genocide of many cultures here, including the Native Americans, including, you know, Korea and all these other places, Vietnam. So there's so many things that have happened in our human history that was intentional culling, and so we're afraid of that. But please don't spread that kind of fear right now in people. It is irresponsible. It's just a time where we need to be aware and conscious and work on ourselves. You're only being asked to keep up your own immune system. That's all I can do. And just offer some tools this week. That's what I'm going to do, to help you to focus on things that actually regulate the shaking and the unevenness in your body, and allow your cells to catch a breath. Plant a garden. That's a good thing to do. Have some fresh vegetables. You can't change what Elon Musk did. Those satellites are in the sky. Maybe one day they'll be brought down. Maybe we'll end up understanding part of our own horror story that we demand in the forms of higher technology and communication. Maybe our societies will end now, 100 years from now. We don't know. So be appreciative for today. Understand how when the total energy of the earth is affected by an influence, that every single thing on the planet, down to the elemental chemical bonds of things, are being tested and challenged, and that there's plenty to conspire about, but I say conspire over your own health and radical self-care. As my friend Sonia suggests, do steam baths with essential oils to kill bacteria in your throat and your sinuses. I would say get under UV light a lot, and I'm sitting in front of my window right now. I'll go outside with my dog later. I do that every day. There's no magical cure for any of this. But being concerned about one another in the way that we make decisions that are better for the whole in the future, I think, is really important. We're fighting many things. It is a silent enemy. But I know as individuals, we have the ability to self-regulate and come into balance. We're going to lose a lot of people. Some of us are going to be affected immediately by that, and we don't know who. So love the ones that you love. Take care of one another. Understand the influences that you're under, how we've affected the earth with our great knowledge, and how sometimes looking into our folk cultures at the stories of the beginnings and endings of things can help us to understand how simple and easy it is to say, stay safe and healthy. I love you, and I look forward to posting more this week to encourage your well-being and your balance. And until next time, bye-bye.